So, till now, we have studied definition, meaning, and applications of optimization technique in different fields of knowledge. And thereafter, we have tried to give a mathematical model of various kinds of linear programming problem which we generally face in our day-to-day life. And then we learned the graphical solutions of linear programming problems. But in our previous class, I have mentioned that graphical techniques has an inherent inability to deal with more than two variables, because you cannot draw a graph showing more than two coordinates on a plane. So you cannot solve problems with more than two variables, and this is why there was a need for some other technique which should be able to deal with problems having more than two variables. And simplex technique was then evolved, and this technique is so powerful that it is not only able to deal with any number of variables as you wish, but nowadays computer programming for solution of problems by simplex techniques has also been made available, and you can deal various kinds of problems, because there are certain cases where it is very difficult to give a graphical solution or interpret the optimality from the feasible region of the graphical solutions we have. So we, in all those cases, go for simplex technique. To understand the problem, or to understand this method of solving linear programming problem, we should understand the conditions under which simplex method can work. So conditions for application of simplex techniques we must understand. It is considered essential that to solve a problem by linear programming by simplex techniques, two conditions must be met, two conditions must be satisfied. That is, right hand side of each constraint bi should be non-negative. So say when you write 2x plus 3x2, 2x1 plus 3x2 less than equal to 5, so it has to be a positive integer, either 0 or a positive quantity. It cannot be a negative quantity. So the right hand side of each constant must be positive. Okay? For any region, suppose the right hand side is negative, then we multiply both sides by -1 to convert the constant in equation into another equation in which right hand side will be a positive quantity. For example, let us say that 8x1 minus 3x2 is greater than equal to -6. In that case, we shall multiply both sides with -1. Then our constant in equation will get changed to 8x1 minus 8x1 plus 3x2 will be less than equal to 6. So what we have seen here, that when we multiply both sides with -1, the direction of inequality also gets changed in this process. So if it is earlier it was a greater than equal to type inequality, now it got changed to less than or equal to type. Second condition is that each of the decision variables of the problem must be non-negative. This we had seen in the graphical solution also, that all x1, x2, x3 should be greater than equal to 0. But sometimes a problem might have a variable which is unrestricted in sign or simply free, so that this variable can assume even a negative value. Such situations are handled by treating these variables as the difference of two variables, and both these variables are negative, non-negative. For example, say in the problem, maximize z is equal to 5x1 plus 7x2 minus 2x3. This is the objective function, subject to the constraint that 2x1 plus 5x2 plus 3x3 is less than equal to 80. 5x1 plus 2x2 minus 2x3 is less than equal to 30. x2 plus 6x3 is less than equal to 42. x1 and x2 are greater than equal to 0, but you have a condition where x3 is said to be unrestricted in sign. What does it mean? X3 is unrestricted in sign means it may be 0, it may be negative, it may be positive, any of the three things. But in simplex technique, we can solve problems only with variables which have a positive value. So what we do here, we consider x3 as a difference of two variables, x4 and x5. So we replace x3 by x4 minus x5, where x4 is also positive and x5 is also positive. But what happens if x4 is lower than x5? Then x4 minus x5 will become negative. x4 is greater than x5, then x4 minus x5 is positive. And if x4 and x5 are both equal, then x3 will be equal to 0. So whatever be the value of x3, positive or negative, x4 and x5 are always positive. So we replace x3, which is free in, or which is say unrestricted in sign, by x4 minus x5, that is difference of two variables which individually are positive. So our objective function z will be now modified as maximize z is equal to 5x1 plus 7x2 minus 2x4 plus 2x5, because when minus 2x3 is replaced by x3 is replaced by x4 minus x5, then you have minus 2x4 plus 2x5, and subject to the condition that 2x1 plus 5x2 plus, again here you replace x3 with x4 minus x5, it will be 3x4 minus 3x5 is less than equal to 80. 5x1 plus 2x2 minus 2x4 plus 2x5 less than equal to 30. x2 plus 6x4 minus 6x5 is less than equal to 42. And x1, x2, x4, x5 all greater than equal to positive. So what we have seen? Two conditions, that the right hand side of each inequations must be positive and each variable must also be positive or 0. So these are the two conditions for solving a linear programming problem. We come to certain basic terminology. So one is standard form. A linear programming in which all the constraints are written as equality. Then this is called a standard form. Optimal solution of the standard form is the same as the optimal solution of the original linear programming problem. Normally, you will see that in linear programming problem, the constants are either less than type or greater than type. But when it is equal, when the sign is converted into equality, and if the solution of the original linear programming problem is the same as that of the standard form, or the same as when we replace it with equality sign, then this form is known as standard form. Then comes slack variable. Say A11x1 plus A12x2 is less than equal to B1. It means A11x1 plus A12x2 is either equal to B1 or it is less than B1. So to convert it into a standard form, what we happens? If it is equal to B1, okay, no problem, but it is less than B1. It means left hand side is lesser, right hand side is bigger. So we add certain variables, say slack variable S1 to make it equal to B1. So if S1 is equal to 0, then it will be equal. So if S1 has certain value, then the left hand side is less than equal to B1. So a slack variable is added to the left hand side of a less than or equal to type constant to make it equal, equal. So this variable is known as slack variable. So this can be interpreted as amount of unused resources, and contributions associated with this is always 0 because this is not going to give you any profit, or this is also not going to add any expenditure to the solution. So inequality can be removed in less than or equal to type in equations by adding slack variables S1, S2, S3. Similarly, if it is a greater than equal to type in equation constant, then we deduct something from the left hand side to make it equal to the right hand side. So a variable which is subtracted from the left hand side, which is greater than or equal to constant, which is to remove the greater than or equal to constant, is known as surplus variable. So this is the amount, this can be interpreted as the amount over and above the required minimum level. So we say, while slack variable was requirement minus production, surplus value is production minus requirement. So these are the interpretations of slack and surplus variable. You must remember, sometimes you may be asked in the examination to write a note on slack variable and surplus variable, or you may be asked to give the physical interpretation of slack variable and surplus variable. Then you must write that slack is equal to requirement minus production and surplus is equal to production minus requirement. I think I am clear. So what we have learned here, that slack variable is used to convert the less than or equal to type of inequality by adding something on the left hand side, while surplus variable is by deducting something from the left hand side to make it equal to the right hand side, and this is done to convert the greater than equal to sign to the standard form. Then comes the definition, basic solution. So in a system of m linear equations in n variables, and if n is greater than m, a solution obtained by setting n minus m variables equal to 0 and solving for remaining m variables is called basic solution. Then what is non-basic variables? The variables n minus m that are set equal to 0 in any solution are called non-basic variables. We shall explain this with an example. Now we are only writing the definitions. What are the basic variables? Variables m whose values are determined by solving n m equations are known as basic variables. Basic feasible solution. The basic solution which is feasible also. One is basic solution, another is feasible also, is known as basic feasible solution. And what is optimal solution? A basic feasible solution which maximizes or minimizes, that is, it which optimizes the objective function. This is known as optimal solution. What is simplex table? All the parameters of linear programming problem are represented in a tabular form. When the simplex technique is employed, this table is known as simplex table, and this is used for making calculations at each iteration, at each step. Then is ZJ row. ZJ row is each element in the index row. I will explain to you index row. Represents the new contribution to objective function when one unit of non-basic variable is introduced in the basic in place of a basic variable. Let me explain to this when we shall solve the problem. Then comes the index row, Cz minus Zj, Cj minus Zj. Each element in the index row represents the net contribution to objective function by introducing one unit of variable at the top of the column. Elements of this row are calculated by subtracting values of elements in Zj row from the corresponding values of the elements in per unit contribution Cj for that column. What is key column? The column with largest positive number in the index row of the maximization problem or largest negative number in the index row of the minimization problem is known as key column. The variable of this column only will enter in the solution in the next iteration. Then comes key row. The row with the smallest positive ratio is found by dividing the values of quantity column by corresponding values of key column for each row is called as key row. The value of this row leaves the basis in next iteration. Key number, the non-zero positive element in the at the intersection of key row and key column is known as key number. So now we have understood or we have tried to define the basic terminology of simplex technique. Now we shall solve, we shall further understand it, or our conception will be clear when we solve a problem, and then we shall re-explain you the entire thing. So let us consider an example in which the objective function is maximize z is equal to 3x1 plus tx2 plus 2x2, subject to the condition that x1 plus x2 is less than equal to 4, x1 minus x2 is less than equal to 2, and x1 and x2 both greater than equal to 0. So what is the first part of this discussion in simplex technique? two conditions must be satisfied. Number one, the right hand side should always be positive. So here we see that all the inequations have positive values on the right hand side. X1 plus x2 is less than equal to 4. X1 minus x2 is less than equal to 2. 4 and 2 are all positive integers. So first condition is met. Secondly, it is also said that x1 and x2 both are greater than equal to 0. It means there is no unrestricted sign. So second condition is also met. So next step is that we convert inequality into equality. So it is less than type. Both the constants are less than type. X1 plus x2 is less than equal to 4. X1 minus x2 is less than equal to 2. So we make use of the slack variables and we write x1 plus x2 plus s1 is equal to 4. X1 minus x2 plus s2 is equal to 2, where s1 and s2 both are equal to or greater than 0. Like x1 plus x2 is greater than 0. These s1, s2 are known as slack variables. So our problem of maximization becomes what? Earlier it was maximize 3x1 plus 2x2, plus we have introduced two variables, s1 and s2 also. But as I have explained to you earlier, that their contribution, both in terms of cost or profit, is always equal to 0. Means they will have 0 cost or they will add to 0 profit. So they do not add any profit to the system. So we say profit means coefficient will be 0, 0 into S1 plus 0 into S2. So our problem of maximization or problem optimization becomes z is equal to, so objective function is maximize z is equal to 3x1 plus 2x2 plus 0s1 plus 0 into s2. Subject to the condition x1 plus x2 plus s1 is equal to 4, x1 minus x2 plus s2 is equal to 2, and x1, x2, s1, s2 all greater than equal to 0. So we write this in the matrix form. So we write what? Their coefficients. X1 coefficient is 1, x2 coefficient is 1 in the first row, s1 coefficient is 1, and s2 is not present here, so we write 0. In the second equation, x1 minus x2 plus s2 is equal to 2, we write x1 coefficient 1, x2 minus 1, s1 is equal to 0, s2 is equal to 1, and then x2, and then it is s1, s2. This is equal to 4, 2. This is the constant equations I have written in the matrix form. Now, we are going to write this in the simplex table. Please concentrate here, because converting the given conditions or writing the or transferring the data available in the problem into simplex table is also a great art. If you learn it correctly, then chances of committing mistake at a later stage is reduced substantially. So let us consider this problem. So first row is C0, we call it contribution per unit. It could be a cost also, or it could be a profit also. So this is the coefficient of the variables in the objective function. So here maximize z is equal to 3x1 plus 2x2 plus 0s1 plus 0s2. So their coefficients are x1 has a coefficient of 3, x2 has a coefficient of 2, s1 has a coefficient of 0, and s2 has a coefficient of 0. So we write on the top of the table contributions per unit of each variable in the objective function. So this 3, 2, 0 and 0 are these coefficients. Then we write quantity, and then another column is of maximum ratio. So now, after writing all these things, and next column is quantity and then is maximum ratio, we write the basic variables and their cost per unit. So simplex technique believes in the fact that we start from the worst solution and gradually we try to improve upon the solution. The worst solution in this case would be that we have to maximize the profit, that we do not produce any quantity of x1 or x2. Let x1 be 0 and x2 be 0. So what will happen? You do not produce x1 or x2, then s1 is equal to 4 and s2 is equal to 2. This is the, and their contribution is 0. So profit will be 0. X1, x2 0 and 0 s1, 0 s2. So worst condition is when in the case of maximization that your profit becomes 0 and you do not produce anything. This is the worst condition. And then we try to improve upon this condition and finally arrive at the best possible solution or the optimum solution. So in this table we write S1, S2. These are the basic variables or interim variables. Means we start solutions from this stage only where we produce S1 and S2 only. And what is the quantity? S1 we produce in 4 units, S2 in 2 units. And what is the contribution of S1 and S2 in the profit? In the objective function? 0. Because these are slack variables, these are introduced only to make the left hand side and right hand side equal. So their contribution is 0. Then we write ZJ. So ZJ is, against each column you multiply with the cost of the respective row and make the summation. So 1 into 0, 0 plus 1 into 0 is equal to 0 here. So ZJ is the summation of all elements of that column with the cost per unit. So all the elements of x1 are multiplied with the cost are multiplied with the corresponding value in the cost per unit column, CB column, and then we add all these quantities and this is written as CJ, ZJ. So 1 into 0, 0, 1 into 0, 0, 0 plus 0 is equal to 0 here. Similarly, 1 into 0, 0, 1 into 0, 0, this is again 0. Likewise, we write all the values of ZJ. So in most of the cases, you will find that ZJ is generally 0 in the case of maximization problem. Only in the maximization problem, remember, in the initial table. Then we write Cj minus Zj. Cj minus Zj is what? Cj is 3 here, 3, 4, minus Zj is 0, here 0, 0, 0. So Cj 3 minus 0 is equal to 3, 2 minus 0 is equal to 2, 0 minus 0 is equal to 0, 0 minus 0 is equal to 0. So this Cj minus Zj is written here. So Cj is the coefficient of jth term in the objective function and Cbj is the coefficient of jth variable. So this is how we have calculated the value of Zj and Cj minus Zj. Now, if it is a problem of maximization, then Cj minus Zj, which is sometimes also written as delta J, Cj minus Zj is also written delta J, should be all positive or equal to 0. So if Cj and minus Zj are all for maximization problem, if Cj minus Zj, this Cj minus Zj or delta J, the values in the net, this is also known as net evaluation row. So net evaluation row, if all the values are either negative or 0, then we say that the condition of optimality has been reached. The condition of maximization has reached. So all the elements in the Cj minus Zj row should be either equal to 0 or negative. In this case, you see that we have all positive quantities 3, 2 and 0, 0. So until we are able to convert all these quantities into negative or values or 0 values, we have not attained the stage of optimality. So our concern, our intent is here to convert these elements, these values into negative or 0 values. Okay, so we go to the next stage. The row containing values of this is also known as index row or net evaluation row, Cj minus Zj. So what we do, in index row, if there are more than one positive values, then the incoming variable is the one that heads the column containing maximum value of delta J. So let us see here. We have two positive values in the net evaluation row or index row. We have two positive values 3 and 2, another is 0 and 0. So the column corresponding to the maximum value in the net evaluation row in the index row is known as key column. So here the value is here 3. So first column corresponding to the variable x1 will be the key column here, because the maximum value of Cj minus Zj, maximum positive value, is in this column only. So this corresponds, because this value is 3 plus 3, which is more than plus 2. So this column is known as key column. So this column is key column. Okay. And then what we do, if this is the key column, then what we do, we divide each element of the key column with, we divide the quantity column with each element of, with each positive element, not negative element, with each positive element of the key column. So quantity column is, so two values 4 and 2, and key column have two values 1 and 1 both positive. So if there had been one, had there been even a single negative value, then we would not have considered that. We consider only the positive entries. So in this case, both the entries are positive. So 4 divided by 1 is equal to 4, and 2 divided by 1 is equal to 2. So minimum ratio means it is 4 and 2. So the row corresponding to the minimum value in the ratio is known as key row. So we have understood two things. Remember, key column and key row. What is key column? The row corresponding to the maximum positive value, the column corresponding to the maximum positive value in the index row. In the index row or in the net evaluation row. And when we divide the quantity with the positive values in the key column, then the row which has the lowest value in the ratio, that is called the minimum ratio, that row is known as key row. and intersection of the key column and key row is the key element. In this case, row corresponding to the basic variable S2 is the key row, column corresponding to the variable X1 is the key column, and at their intersection is 1, so 1 is the key element. What does it mean? It means that in the next iteration, S1, S2, the variable corresponding to the key row will disappear. S2 will be replaced. It will no longer exist. And it will be replaced. Then what else will come? What will come here? The variable corresponding to the key column. So X1. So X1 will come and it will replace S2. So this is the interpretation. This is why we are doing this operation, key column and key ratio calculation. Okay? So let us come to this. So in this table, what we have done, that X1, S1 we keep the variable, and X2, S2 was replaced by S1. So this becomes X1. X1 is the incoming variable and S2 was the outgoing variable. It has left. Then the entries in the key row are replaced by, see here, the key element is 1, so we divide all the entries in the key row with this key element. So 0 divided by 1, 0, 1, everything is divided by 1. So this row, all the elements will remain the same. So in the next iteration, this S2 is replaced by X1 and all the value 0, 1, 1, 0, 1, 2 will remain the same. So in the next table, you see this 1, minus 1, 0, 1, 2, so everything has remained same. Here, only thing, the cost per unit of X1 or profit per unit, whatever you call, whatever is the contribution, this has become replaced by its coefficient in the objective function. So this 3 has come. Now, what we do? All the elements in the key column are marked 0 except the key element. So in the next column, this 1 will be replaced by 0 and this will remain as 1. Key element will remain 1 because this is to be divided by 1 only. So in the next column, see here 0 and this becomes 1. All had there been more than one, 2 variables, then also all the elements in this column would have become 0. So this is the condition. Other elements are replaced by using this formula. For other cell values, they are replaced by old value minus key column value into key row value divided by key value. Remember, or write down this formula: new value is equal to old value minus key column value into key row value by key value. Let us see here. This one we want to explain. That this old value is 1, so 1, old value 1, minus what? Minus key column value. Key column value, what is in the key column? This is the key column. The key column value in this row is 1, 1 minus 1 into key row value. What is key row value here? Key row value is here C minus 1. This divided by the key element value 1. So 1 minus 1 into minus 1 divided by 1. So 1 minus 1 into minus 1 divided by 1 is equal to 1. This becomes minus 1 minus sign this side. So this becomes plus 1. 1 plus 1 is equal to 2. So this value becomes 2. Similarly, we calculate the values in all other cells. So this becomes the new iteration table or new simplex table. Now we calculate the ZJ value in the same way. 0 into 0, 0, 3 into 1, 3. So sum of 0 plus 3 is 3. Here 0 into 2, 2, 3 plus into minus 1, minus 3. So 0 and minus 3, minus 3. Likewise, you calculate, then this becomes 3, minus 3, 0 and 3. When you subtract it in this Cj minus Zj, so 3 minus 3 is equal to 0. So 2 minus 3 means 2 minus 3 minus 2 plus 3 is equal to 5, and this becomes 0 and this minus 3. Now this is the net value. So no, in the next row, what we have seen, that all the cell entries are still not 0 or negative. One cell entry here 5, this is plus 5. So this is again negative. What does it mean? That there is still a scope of improvement. So do you see any improvement in this solution? Now you started that you will produce only S1 in this solution. We started where? We started in this solution where we made only S1 and S2, and their quantity was 4 and 5. So their contribution is 0. So our profit was 0. But in this case, our now production plan has improved. Now we produce S1, 2 units of S1 and 2 units of X1. So 2 units of S1 gives 0 value, but 2 units of X2, because X2 has a contribution of 2, so 2 into 2, 4. So now our profit has become 4 units by changing the production strategy. Sorry, it is 6. It is X1, which gives a contribution of 3. So 2 units of X1, and because each unit gives a contribution of 3 units, so 2 into 3, 6 units or 6 rupees, say in terms of rupees, because monetary unit is rupees in India, so say we get a profit of rupees 6. So we started from 0 profit, now we have come to a profit of 6 rupees. So this is the improvement. But we find that there is still a scope of improvement. And what is the profit again? Here it says that there is a possibility of introducing X2 unit, and you will earn a profit because this value is positive. This value is positive means this will give a positive contribution to the solution. So again we decide the maximum positive column corresponding to the maximum value in the net evaluation row is the key column. So here we have only one column which has a positive value in the net evaluation row, delta J, that is Cj minus Zj. So this column will be X column corresponding to X2 will be the key column. So what we do, we divide the quantity column with the corresponding elements in the key row. So 2 divided by 2 is equal to 1, and 2 divided by minus 1 is equal to minus 2. So we need not divide it. We simply say that we do not consider negative value. So only one positive value. What is the positive value? This one. So this becomes the key. So this is the column corresponding to the variable x2 becomes the key column, and row corresponding to s1 becomes the key row. So this becomes the key row and this becomes the key column, and the intersection of this, that is this two is the key element. So key column, key row and key element we have identified. So in the next table what we do, S1 will be replaced by X2. Key row means that this variable will go out, this is an outgoing variable, and key column means this is an incoming variable. X2 will come in the next solution, and new values in the key row will be the old values divided by the key element. So 0 divided by 0, 0 divided by 2, 2 divided by 1, 1 by 2, minus 1 by 2, quantity 2 by 2 is equal to 1. Denominator will change. So first let us go to the next table. So this contribution x2 has come, x1 will remain as such, and its contribution is 2 in rupees per unit of production. So 2, and then we have divided every entry in the earlier simplex table by the key element, which was 2 here, 2. So 0 by 2, 0. You remember, you note down so that you can see the next table. 0 by 2, 0, 2 by 2, 1, 1 by 2, 1 by 2, minus 1 by 2, 2 by 2, 1. And minimum ratio has to be changed again. So 0, 1, 1 by 2, minus 1 by 2. Quantity is 1. Then the formula that I told you, that's this is the key column. So this has been replaced by 2 divided by 2, 1, and all other values in the key column will be 0. So this minus 1 will become 0 here. This minus 1 has become 0 here in this column. And other values have been changed by using the same formula. Old value minus key column value into key row value divided by key value. So like then using that formula, we have changed the values. So this has become, new values have become 3, 1, 0, 1 by 2, 1 by 2, and quantity becomes 3. Then we calculate Zj, 2 into 0, 0, 3, 1 into 3, 3, so 0 plus 3, 3. Similarly, 2, this becomes 5 by 2, this becomes 1 by 2. And Cj minus Zj means 3 minus 3 is equal to 0, 2 minus 2 is equal to 0, so 0 minus 5 by 2 is equal to minus 5 by 2, 0 minus 1 by 2 is equal to minus 1 by 2. Now you have seen that Cj minus Zj or delta j or net evaluation row or the index row, all the values are either 0 or negative. It means if what do they indicate that 0 value means if you are further going to introduce x1 and x2, their contribution will be 0. There will be no improvement. And if you introduce x1 and x2, then it is minus and minus. It means they will reduce the profit. They are not going to add any profit. They are going to only reduce the profit. So this negative value indicates that there will be further reduction of profit if you are going to reintroduce S1 or S2. So in the next solution, in the final solution, what we can see that all the values in the net evaluation row are either equal to 0 or negative. So we have reached the case of optimality. Since all Cj minus Zj are 0 or negative, so optimal solution has reached. So what is the optimal solution? X2 is equal to 1 unit and X1 is equal to 3 units. What happens? So 1 unit of X1 means gives a profit of 2. So our objective function was 3x1 plus 2x2. So we produce 3 units of X1. So 3 into 3, 9, plus 2 into 1, 1. So 2 into 1, 2. 9 plus 2, 11 units. So this 11 units is our profit. So this is the solution, optimal solution. So today we have learned how to transfer the inequalities into equalities by adding surplus and slack variables, how to transfer the data into simplex table, how to identify the net evaluation row, key column, key number and how to transport the further iteration, minimum ratio and further iterations, and then improve the solution so as to arrive at the final solution, maximization. So today we have solved a maximization problem of two variables by simplex technique. Next class we shall learn, or we shall extend our discussions to some other kinds of problems also. Thank you. So we end here for today class.